This week on the show, we've got a trifecta of topics to talk about. We're talking about the Game Awards nominee reactions, Hunter's played Possessors, and I've played Kirby Air Riders. It's all coming up on this week's HGO podcast. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, he is here by my side forever and always, and especially in age. It's Hunter. Hey, Hunter, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
You feeling
You're
old?
Stuck with me until
You feeling old?
we depart this mortal coil. Oh, we're almost there. Yeah, just about.
Well, yeah.
4 hours until the
I'm sorry.
sand in the hourglass runs out.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we instead of last week where the moment happened live, we're not doing it live this time, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'd have to stay up until you'd have to stay up until like 5.
I know, right? I mean, Wicked for Good is a long film, Hunter. It ain't that long though. We can't delay the podcast that long. But no, I am exhausted, and I don't think it's because of a 3-hour film. I think it is because it was a mediocre 3-hour film. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I'm a big fan of Act 1 of Wicked. I think Act 1 of Wicked is excellent. It's brilliant. I think the film's very good. And it's like, my friend was like, what did you think as we left the theater? And I was like, it's a good adaptation of a bad second act of a musical, because it's not a good second act. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's better than the musical,
I know what you
and
mean.
it's done well. It's just fundamentally it's not very good. Like that. So I'm just sitting there kind of.
There are a lot of things that I happen to like that start really strong, and then the second part isn't as good. I feel like horror games fall into that category a lot, where the first half is really good and then the end kind of falls off.
Yeah, 100%. So it's like one of those weird things where it's like, yeah, it's better than I think it's better than it is on stage, but I'm also sitting there going, you can't perfect, you can't be faithful to something. Yeah, if you're making a faithful adaptation of something, unfortunately it's still gonna kind of be bad. But it's fine. I had a good enough time. You know what I mean? Like it was fine. Kind of the same reaction that I have to Jeff Keighley, ladies and gentlemen, every single time that we bring it up on this podcast. It's fine, like first half, it's pretty good. Second half, starts to drag.
Falls off after he brings Kojima on stage.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Kojima is his defying gravity moment, and it just goes downhill from there. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a trifecta of topics for you to enjoy, to peruse this week. We're going to talk about our initial thoughts on Game Awards noms. If you are thinking, where are your predictions? Just wait, okay? They are more than likely coming. Is it not next week? The week after? It's like it's either next week or the week after. We haven't decided yet, but we are doing, our normal predictions
It'll be
episode.
before the show, naturally. Yeah. We won't be snuck up on like the nominations themselves were.
True. So I feel like this episode we're going to try and rectify that a little bit. We're going to talk about any games that we think got snubbed, any games that we think, have been overrepresented, underrepresented. We're going to talk about all that, our thoughts and feelings about it, and then we'll do our big predictions later on. We've got some smaller impressions as well. Hunter has been playing Possessors. I've played a smidge of Kirby Air Riders. So I've dipped my toes into the Sakurai pool once again, and I went, oh, he's got the same menus again. I get it. He likes these menus. I believe his wife designs these menus, but also, why does everything have to look like this? You know what I mean? I'm like, Sakurai, Kirby doesn't fit the Smash Bros menus in my opinion. I'm sorry, it didn't work on the GameCube. It doesn't work now. But hey, game's alright. We'll talk about it more in a little bit. But yeah, if you're new here, welcome on into the HGO podcast, everybody. We are here every Monday at around 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern on podcast services everywhere, and at youtube.com/hotgamers-only. Housekeeping for you. Obviously, reviews up on the website if you want to go check them out, or youtube.com/hotgamers-only. Might be a couple of reviews in the pipeline before the end of the year, so look forward to those. Keep your eyes peeled. And yeah, if you haven't read Cal's article on Final Fantasy greatest moments, go and check that out on the website as well. We'd really appreciate it. And we do have a word from a sponsor later in the episode, but we will tell you about that later. I've got to mention it now, Hunter, or else the FTC will come with gun in hand and
Oh yeah, yeah.
trauma on us.
It's
It's
like
fine.
when we get a review copy, we have to say so, or
Mhm.
we'll be tasered from the great beyond.
Exactly. But we'll tell you about that a little bit later. But for now, let's talk about our main-ish topic of the show. The Game Awards. They come around every year. I don't know. The
For
one
better or
thing,
worse.
for better or worse, the one thing that I do want to say is, and I'm on Jeff's side for this one thing, Hunter, and that one thing is, everybody always sits there and always goes, "Oh, the December games, they should do this in January," and I'm like, there's no good time to do this. There just is no good time to do it.
Yeah.
January would actually be terrible because you probably wouldn't get any sponsors or anything like that. So I understand why he's doing December. It's the most profitable month on the internet, by the way, in terms of SEO and everything like that. It makes sense for him to do it in December. I think people need to chill. And let's be real here. Can I be honest with you, Hunter? Can I, as a lover of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, as a fan of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's very rare for a December game for me. Indiana Jones was very good as well. I'm never coming around on the next year and going, "Oh, let me tell you, Jedi Fallen Order robbed." Like, I'm never doing that, you know? Like, they're good games. I'm
The
never.
hilarious thing, that's a hilarious one in hindsight because that's something that like industry pundits or games media coverage was saying at the time because Jedi missed the boat. But like that was only because people hadn't quite hit the FromSoft enlightenment yet.
Yeah, yeah. But I think, for all the flack that Jeff gets, I think that where it situates itself in the year isn't one of them. Uh, I'd argue, hey, if you don't want your game to be ignored, you're the one deciding that December release date, mate. Metroid Prime 4, you decided that you wanted to stick yourself there. And then you
Yeah,
decided
and
that you wanted to release a gameplay trailer where you've got a little nerd that's talking to Samus the entire time. So I'm like, Metro. We're not talking about Metroid Prime 4 today, ladies and gentlemen, but I do want to say that that marketing team at Nintendo that's working on Metroid Prime 4 genuinely needs to rethink what they've done because every time they show something for this game,
let's just
nobody's
take a
happy.
vacation for a whole generation and then give us trailers that have been meh at best to the fans of the series hit DEFCON 5 with this last one
Dude, like, legitimately.
it's
I've
I
seen.
wasn't quite ready to burn down the fields or anything yet
I'm still
because,
gonna play it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna play it and it's whatever as far as guy talking. I don't think it'll be as bad as
I form
people
my
are thinking it is going to be.
I form my own opinions. I'm not
Yeah.
going to sit there and try and crucify Andy Robinson from VGC, for him not liking the demo that he played, which, by the way, he said the exact same thing about DK Bonanza, and then when the full game came out, because when he played it early, Pauline wasn't in it and all that jazz, and when he actually got around to it, he was like, I'm wrong. VGC's a good outlet. He will be the first person to say he was wrong if he gets the full game and he likes it. So I'm just sitting
Yeah.
there going, give him a chance. Let him cook. I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's also hilarious when people get defensive about these things when like
Mm.
you didn't play the game yet.
It's always Nintendo games. People get a bit too invested. And I'm like, bro, just enjoy the game. Sit down, enjoy the game. You're not the marketing department. Stop acting like you're on DEFCON 1. Like, just chill a bit.
Yeah,
Chill a bit. But yeah,
you too, Pokemon fans.
don't get me started, bro. I've still not finished ZA. We can talk about that
Oh
later if we're
man.
running out of time. If we're running short on time, I can talk about that. But yeah. Anyway, Game Awards noms came out of nowhere, as they always do. How are you feeling overall, Hunter? Are you positive, negative, neutral? How are you feeling?
Um, Mostly positive. I don't know. There are a couple of things where I'm sitting there going, they're always a confounding thing, right? Because I approach these with
Mm-hmm.
a sense of I'm more rational than most people about it. I think where I go into the mainstream video game award with mainstream expectations. I'm not about like I would never expect something like AI the Somnium Files to get nominated for anything in one of these.
I think a lot of people like to call the Game Awards like they're the Oscars of video games. And I'm like, nah, bro, it's more like the Emmys of video games. Because the
yeah,
Emmys, your big budget HBO show, The Last of Us will always win the Emmy, like Breaking Bad, or, like your big kind of
Game of
sometimes
Thrones.
proper, yeah, Game of
Yeah,
Thrones, sometimes proper mainstream, sometimes not, but mainstream in the zeitgeist. And that's kind of what the Game Awards is. It's like you're gonna have art house films nominated, art house games nominated, but it's always going to be the race of the big dogs in the end, it's always going to
yeah.
be, or the rogue that has become an absolute phenomenon, like Expedition 33 in this year's example. But yeah, I think people get way too upset. I think if I was Jeff, I genuinely would start reevaluating some categories.
I
Um,
agree. Um,
my big
but
takeaway for this one is, I think the Golden Joysticks does this better. I think that we are at a point in the games industry when it comes to acting and performances that there should be a best lead and best supporting category now. I think that is something that's
I
needed.
would say so. Yeah,
Especially because that would help to solve a lot of the issues that we have where games are having two, or in this year's case, three nominations in a singular category. You could split those into two categories and, spread them more widely. Um, I think that's the thing. I think he should just scrap the esports stuff. I don't think the esports scene respects the Game Awards, to be honest. And I think that
yeah.
I think it's about time that Jeff just takes his losses and moves on. You do not need to give League of Legends any more awards, Jeff. I think they've
I
got enough.
think that I think that some genres
Mhm.
shouldn't be every year things. Like this has been probably the weakest selection for the fighting game of the year since the time that um what was it, Multiverses won it.
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
So, the game that unreleased after winning, and now you can't play it anymore either.
Yeah.
So, like, and pick genres that popped off in a different way in a certain year. Like last year would have been a great time to do a best horror category,
Oh,
or
100%.
this year you could do best puzzle because that's a genre that popped off a lot this year. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Some years are excellent for horror. Some are terrible.
Yeah.
Can we stop having the argument of is said horror game an action game or an adventure game? Can we stop having that argument, please? Because most of the time the answer should be kind of neither. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think that you can't have a category for every genre. And I also think that you don't necessarily need um every genre to have one every year. But I do think it would be nice to, you know, if there is a trend. For example, every time it's like best ongoing game, every single year it's the same 5 games that get the nom every single year because they're the same 5. Spruce that up a bit, extraction shooters with Arc Raiders and all that jazz have been huge this year. you know Dedicate a multiplayer category to that kind of game. It's like it just feels
Yeah.
like a lot of the time it's like, okay, we're having that fight again on who's the best supported game. Is it No Man's Sky again? Like, I love Sean Murray and I love Hello Games, but also what are we doing here? We're just having the same conversation every year with the same couple of games. um Obviously, big year for Expedition 33. No one is surprised at it having the most nominations out of any game. A couple of people surprised that it is the most nominations in Game Awards history. Um, yeah, it's basically nominated for everything
What?
it can be.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. What previously held that
It's
record?
got
Was
to
it
be Last
Last
of
of
Us
Us
Part
2?
2, hasn't it? It's
Or
got to be The Last of Us Part 2.
I was gonna say it's either Last of Us or Elden Ring, right?
Hmm. Yeah, but I think it's got to be The Last of Us Part 2, hasn't it? And I'm not saying that's indicative of either game's quality. It's just
Yeah,
it's kind of The Last of Us is kind of, it's awards bait, isn't it? In the same way that I think
sure
Expedition
is.
33 has coincidentally become. It didn't I don't think it was set out to be that way, but I think it's very much ticks all the right boxes now that we're on the other side. Um But I mean, I'm happy for the guys at Soundfall. Um, I've said it to you before, Hunter. I will say it in a week or 2 weeks' time. Again, it's their season to lose.
Yeah,
Um, Also, it will be next week because I just realized Metroid's out. We do need to actually talk about that, so it will be next week.
yeah.
Um, it's their year to lose. It really is their year to lose. The only thing that I'm kind of annoyed about is, again, having this conversation of, I do think it should be nominated for best indie game. I do think it should, just because it is a small team, and the lines have very much blurred on what is an indie game and what isn't at this point. I think that's fine. Debut, like, you know what I mean? It's like double dipping in indie and debut, and it's just like,
Yeah, it's a little frustrating,
it
you
makes
know.
sense. It makes sense. It is a debut indie game, but it's a bunch of vets from Ubisoft. You know what I mean? It's like the guy.
That's part of the silly thing about the debut indie category in general is like it's never been something exclusive. It's always been like this specific iteration of people first game, not necessarily brand new people to the scene because like Neon White was nominated for that category despite being marketed off the back of, being from the mind of Mr. Donut County and all that.
Totally. Um, I think that it's a hard one because you very much want to support smaller teams as much as possible. And, I think what Expedition 33 did with the team size that they had is incredible. They have genuinely showed up teams 3 to 10 times their size.
Yeah.
But also, like, one of my favorite games of this year, Blueprints, is going to get completely overlooked in everything that it's been nominated in, just because Expedition 33 is in every other category with it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
it kind of sucks. Let's Sony is still riding high as they're the publisher that has the most nominations, which is comical, to be honest. I'm a huge, I love Death Stranding
It's
too.
because it's mostly because it's contractually obligated. It feels like.
To the point where it's like, with the number of awards it's nominated for, I'm very shocked Ghost of Yote isn't up for Game of the Year.
That's what I meant to get at earlier when I was talking about my thoughts and feelings on the expectations I approached this with.
Mm-hmm.
Because even then, the Game Awards is confounding, where within their own logic, sometimes it feels like games that should be nominated for like Game of the Year aren't. I had this problem back when Returnal missed the Game of the Year category, but also beat Deathloop
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Best Action that year. And a similar instance here, where Ghost of Yote has what 7, 8 nominations. You'd think that that would put it over something like Donkey Kong Bonanza or Kingdom Come Deliverance, which have like what 2 apiece.
Yeah.
Split Fiction as well has more nominations than both of
That's
them. You'd think that.
I You ready for my hottest take? And I think this is my hottest take. I want everybody to know beforehand, if you've not listened to the podcast over the past year, I have played both of these games. Please do not shoot me for this hottest take. Um, I've already mentioned it in the chat. If it was up to me, if I was on the Game Awards jury, I would not be voting Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I would have voted Split Fiction. I just I jokingly said in the chat as I was screaming that Donkey Kong Bonanza is an industry plant, and I can't, like,
Yeah.
it's cool. The terrain breaking is cool, but the gameplay gets, like, it doesn't do anything with it. It really doesn't. The middle of that game is just so by the books that even, this is coming from someone, by the way, who Mario Odyssey is like top 10, top 20 video game. I adore Mario Odyssey. I think that team made as close to a perfect Mario game as you can make with their last game. And so coming to Donkey Kong, and I'm just like, the magic wasn't there as much. The first level, I'm like, this is brilliant. Second level, I'm like, okay, this is cool. I hope that they spice it up going forward. And then they don't. And then they kind of, it's like a roller coaster. You kind of go in that trough, and then the ending's fantastic as well. But that trough is so kind of by the books that I'm just sitting there going,
I would also say that
what?
the ending, for being as good as it is, still takes too long.
100%. It still takes too long. And I sit there and I'm so happy that one of my biggest things that I'm really happy about is that Split Fiction got a nom for game direction, because that final hour of that video game is incredible. From just a technical perspective, it is so darn impressive. Donkey Kong, I don't know what it is about Donkey Kong. It's just, I feel like people are giving it a bit too much praise. I've played games before with that kind of destruction. I've played games before with that kind of platforming. And I think that team has done a better platforming game before, and it's called Mario Odyssey. I still think it's a great game, but I'm also, you know what I would say? We're in a year where I'm sitting there going, it's like Ghost of Yotei. I don't think Ghost of Yotei should be in Game of the Year with the amount of great games that we've had. I'm just like, in my opinion, I think from a technical level and from a innovation level, I think Split Fiction did a lot more interesting stuff with its premise in the final hour than Donkey Kong Bonanza did with an hour of its gameplay. But that's just me. I don't know. Have you got any major snubs that you feel like?
So game direction, I would say that Blueprints feels like a snub.
Yeah, 100%.
Because for as trodden ground roguelikes are these days, I feel like what it does to bring bring its own spin to it is really commendable.
Quite literally, and this is coming from a place of love here, right? I love all but one of the games in Best Game Direction. The other one I think is fine. That one is Ghost of Yotei. But Ghost of Yotei is the exact same game as Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Hades 2 is essentially the exact same game direction as Hades 1, but double it and give it to the next one. You know what I mean? It's like, it's two Hades games together, which is more commendable, but also it still is Hades. It's fundamentally Hades.
Yeah. The only thing I would say that would
Death Stranding 2 is still fundamentally Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, the thing about Hades, Death Stranding, Split Fiction, and Expedition 33, Expedition 33 is a genuine unknown quantity, but with Split Fiction, Hades, and Death Stranding, those are all from people we've seen before doing similar things to what they've done before. But the thing you can say about them is that no one makes games like them.
100%. 100%. So yeah, I don't know why Blueprints didn't get a nomination here.
Yeah, whereas Ghost of Yotei is just the Japanese Assassin's Creed everybody wanted.
True.
For the years before Shadows came out.
I want to say this as well. Best narrative, Ghost of Yotei shouldn't be there. I am absolutely miffed. This is my biggest snub, and I think it is literally because it finished a week before the deadline finished. Dispatch. I think that if Dispatch came out a month earlier, it would be in a lot more categories, including Best Narrative. It is fantastic. If you haven't played it, which, trust me, it seems like everybody has, this might be the best-selling Telltale-like game in a long time. They've sold over 2 million copies.
Yeah.
Some ridiculous stat that they managed...
Incredible.
Some ridiculous stat of they managed to make the projected money that they were projecting, the money that they earned in 1 month was what they were projecting for 3 years.
Oh my god. They must have taken the end of the last attempts run for their projections there.
Genuinely, I genuinely think they were sitting there and they were like, oh, hopefully it'll do well. Now they're probably sitting there going, well, we've got to make a season 2, haven't we? And my response to that is, yes, you do. Get to work. Get that Critical Role shit out of here, dude. I want more Dispatch. I say that in a loving way. Um, so yeah, I think that's a massive snub. Listen, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. My probably the category I am the most passionate about this year, Hunter, is best performance for multiple
Ah,
reasons.
classic.
Reason number one, you've got three people from the same game. I love
Yeah,
all three of these
I've
performances. I think they're
historically
great.
been against doing that with just two, even.
I agree, and I think a best supporting and a best
Shouldn't be that
protagonist,
problem.
yeah, would be best leading and best supporting would do wonders for this award show. And listen, if it was up
On
to
the other
me,
hand,
I would still
where's
want
Andy
best.
Serkis?
Yeah, that is true. You could literally fill this entire category up with the cast of Expedition 33, and I'd be okay with it. But yeah, Charlie Cox, I love Charlie Cox. I think he's great in it. But even he's admitted he only did about 4 hours of work for it, and I'm like, I feel like this is the Norman Reedus snob. You know what I mean, Hunter? Where it's like, oh,
Yeah, I know what you
celebrities
mean.
doing a game, get a Norman, and
But
Andy Serkis would have been a better pick here.
I do agree as far as that goes. I think the thing with Charlie Cox and Gustav there is that his part of the game is a really good like tone setter
Oh,
for
100%.
everything else. So it's like if he was left off, I wouldn't be mad. If he was there instead of one of the other ones, I wouldn't really be mad either. But it's just one of these things where uh three people for one game is excessive.
I 100% agree. I
And
think Ben
also, Troy
Starr.
Baker's nominated for the wrong game.
When I saw Troy Baker, I was like, oh yeah, for Death Stranding? No, for Indiana Jones. Get out of here. Get out of here. The fact that he didn't get a nom for Death Stranding actually annoyed me because that ending, like the last like half an hour of that video game, I'm sitting there going, he deserves a nomination for this.
Yeah,
Nope.
like between Death Stranding not getting one at all is kind of crazy because between him or Luca Marinelli, I think would have been respectable as a decision too with his character in the
Mhm.
game.
100%.
Uh,
I think the rest of them are great. You know, people really latched on to Silent Hill F, so I think that's great.
I really like that it's the Japanese voice actress for this getting the nod because that's like a new thing for this show
Yeah, that's
that hasn't
awesome.
happened yet.
That's awesome. Erika Ishii, I think, did a great job in Ghost of Yote, so I'm not mad with that. This is, Sony Performance Capture does usually get a nom somewhere, so this is that, I guess. Um,
She deserves it for all the grief that she was given in the lead up to the game,
yeah,
if
100%,
nothing else.
yeah, it's funny because, like I say, you look at this category and go, that's nice. It's a fight between Ben Starr and Jennifer English. Like, that's what it is because,
Yeah.
Golden Joysticks, Ben won supporting, Jennifer won leading. I assume that Jennifer's going to win this one because
Mhm.
uh, she is, I guess, the main character of Expedition 33. So I guess that she would probably, I don't know. In my heart of hearts, we'll get to it next week. I'd vote Ben Starr. The end of that game, like, yes,
Mhm.
is Jennifer English's performance fantastic at the end of the game? Yes, but there's something so nuanced about Ben Starr's performance at the end of that game where I'm genuinely like, it's such a
Oh,
hard call. Hard call. We'll talk about it next week.
yeah.
Um, yeah, like say best ongoing games, still the
um,
same three games like Fortnite, Final Fantasy 14, and Marvel, No Man's Sky.
all right,
Okay.
here's one. Best score in music. I was annoyed that Akira Yamaoka got snubbed off of Silent Hill F because he did a really great job with that. The way he, you know, brought
Yeah.
his whole sound style to a new setting in a brand new way. Really well done in so many ways. I think that for me, that sticks in my head more than Ghost of Yote's soundtrack, which, to be honest with you, I've got the one shamisen song that I
Dun,
could pull from
dun, dun,
memory,
dun,
and
dun,
that's
dun, dun, dun,
and
dun,
that's
dun,
about
dun, dun,
it.
dun. Yeah.
Uh,
But do you know what's really funny about that Shamisen song? And I'm gonna ruin it for you right now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the dun 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 dun. What you need to think of that second little riff that she does. What you got to remember is that's the Splatoon Splatfest theme, and then it's ruined. There you go. It's Ghost of Yotei prequel to Splatoon. Fun fact. There you go. Knock yourself out with that lore, nerds. It is the Splatoon 1 theme, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Best score in music, I think, again, there's been so many great soundtracks this year that it's really hard. I do
Yeah,
think,
like whoever wins there, it's hard to argue with. It's like picking between Persona and Nier that one year, you know?
and I know it's not gonna win, but I do want to give a massive shout out to Woodkid for his work on Death Stranding 2. I don't think it will win, but some of that music, the Rainy's theme is like,
Oh, yeah, that's a great
in
one.
terms of songs of the year to me, it is like Rainy's theme versus just Lumiere is like
Lumiere.
just an absolute jam, dude. Like, yeah, it is. Those are like my
My
two
two
songs
are
of the year.
Lumiere and Titan of Time right now.
Yeah. Um yeah, I think for the most part, one thing I am my final kind of snub is I look at, again, art direction, and I'm like, okay, Ghost of
Oh, yeah,
Yotei,
I've
Death
got
Stranding
beef with that
2,
one.
um Keeper. I feel like Keeper is very much snubbed for this category. It
The
looks like a
Midnight Walk is
painting.
my snub for that one because like that's a genuinely unique visual style as far as like everything they did there, and it was nominated for another award, so you people know it exists.
Totally. But yeah, bit of a shame that, but hey ho. But yeah, overall, I think there's a lot of good, there's a lot of We'll see how it plays out. Hey, what's the worst that could
Yeah,
happen? Expedition 33 wins every category.
probably.
We'll find out. We'll find out. It will be interesting. Obviously, join us next week for our full breakdown. We'll be going through our predictions for winners. We'll be doing our predictions for reveals. It's always a fun time to get your little copium hats on, everybody. Is Gaben coming down with Half-Life 3? The gods are saying it's true, Hunter, that Half-Life 3 is real and it is happening for
The only
definite this
thing that could
time.
challenge Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Um, find out next week when we predict everything at the Game Awards. It's going to be a good time. This week's episode of the HGO podcast is brought to you by Zombies Ate My Staff Sergeant. Now, Hunter, this book dares to answer the age-old question. What would you do in a zombie apocalypse?
Follow Hayden Steele as he finds his own answers to the question while he tries to survive the first night of a zombie outbreak on a military base. With plenty of gripping action and twists and turns along the way, you are sure to be on the edge of your seat from cover to cover.
Follow the link in the description down below to get your copy today. And big thank you to Brandon Knight for sponsoring this episode of the HGO podcast. Hunter, you've been playing Possessors.
I sure have.
For those who are unaware, what the heck is a Possessor when it's at home?
Yeah, okay, so Possessors is a game from Heart Machine, the developer of Hyper Light Drifter is what they're most known for. Hyper Light Breaker is the follow-up that they've been working on in early access. I played their game Solar Ash from a couple of years ago, the little space rocket boot skatey kind of game. I thought was pretty good. And this is their latest offering, is a 2D Metroidvania type game about some demons overtaking a city.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize this game was coming out. It's one of those ones where it's like, which
I'd been following its release, or I'd been following like its their little nods to marketing beats and all of that, and I was like, you could wait till next year. I wouldn't be.
yeah, this is like one of those Hunter games where I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I only know of this because of Hunter. But in the same way, it's like, it's like how Keeper, nobody knows that Keeper came out. And I only know that because I'm a little Double Fine cretin that hides under the floorboards that just waits for a drop of content. They released a little 25-minute documentary on it, by the way, if you haven't checked it out. It's pretty good.
Oh, nice.
It's not 34 episodes, but it's still pretty good. You can check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems to have had a little bit of a mixed reception. Mostly positive, but
I would say the reception is pretty fair from what I've played so far. I was thinking it would be a little better, but what
Hmm.
can you do? Um, the Yeah, it really is a mixed bag. I would say that its biggest strengths are its art style is really good. It kind of feels evocative of almost like those 90s anime OVAs in a lot of ways, the way that the characters are designed and just the way
Hmm.
they're drawn. What it makes
Totally.
me think of. And then the combat's pretty cool as far as like it's taking rather than just being the typical Metroidvania kind of smack things around and use an item here and there. It's taking more inspiration from like Smash Brothers and platform fighters as far
Yeah.
as what you're moving around, like directional inputs change your moves, and you've got a special move that you can map a special to each direction on triangle as well. And I think that that's fairly interesting as far as what they're doing. Uh, I would say that the problem with the game comes in that the Metroidvania structure I don't think is very complementary to what they've got going on here. I think this game would be better
Interesting.
served as a like almost like a River City Girls 2D beat 'em up kind of thing where you're being, taken more on a uh more linear or defined at least path because
Hmm.
a lot of times the exploration is if they point you in a general direction, it doesn't really feel that interesting to get from place to place, and I don't really feel like I have a super dialed in on where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like
always,
the
it's
little
always a
bits
tough
of
one. Yeah.
world building that I find here and there is nice, but I feel like you could splice that in with a more leaned down experience.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I It's really tough, and I don't know if this is just like a case of getting older or just, the bar being so high these days. But it is like I've had a couple of games this year that I've just, haven't really hit or have just been, like exploration's been a bit off. Pokemon is the exact same for me, mate, where it's literally like, yeah, the gameplay is pretty fun, but do you want to explore the whole of Lumio City? No, not particularly, because it's pretty badly executed, and all this is like all this superfluous, like all this other little bits and pieces just aren't doing it for me. And it's like it's really hard sometimes when you're like, when you see the vision, and you're like, I can
When you
see
there's
what
something there, but there's a lot that's getting in the way.
I can see what you're trying to do, but it's just, it's just not there. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, I think it would be better served as like a River City Girls type of thing, or even like a what I just played with Shinobi Art of Vengeance, where maybe if you want to keep the more Metroidvania-esque level design, make it staged based so you still have a better feel of like getting what you're supposed to do done quicker.
Totally. Yeah, it's interesting, but hey. Um, so what's your baseline then? How are you feeling then? What's your summary?
Um, I'm gonna keep giving it a try. Maybe it's funny how I even when it's not quite hitting for me, sometimes I have a problem letting these kind of things go. Where
Mm,
I've still got Lost Soul Aside installed on my PlayStation, and I probably will finish the rest of that because I made it like three quarters of the way through anyway, so I might as well see it through. Um, my PlayStation already claims I'm a third of the way through the game, and I only played it for like 3 hours. So I was like, I might as well finish it off.
bro, that's a number 9. That's like, like that could be. You know what PlayStation's like. That could be accurate, and it's like, yeah, just 6 hours left. But it also could be like, for me, I'm like, PlayStation's like double it and take it to the next one. You know what I mean? Where it's like you'll be stuck on 45 for about 26 years, and then it'll shoot up to 90 because it's the PlayStation special.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, keep up with it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those ones where if you're interested in it, it's only $15, so
Yeah,
it won't hurt to, see for yourself. But if it's one that you were like hoping would be the best thing since sliced bread, um, maybe pump the brakes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Right then, moving on, I guess. I did realize there's another elephant in the room that I do want to talk about before Kirby. I forgot that we've actually got there's other games, Hunter. There's
Oh,
the
really?
awful yeah. Don't worry, Hunter. You're gonna love this one. It's this little awful garbage video game called Call of Duty Black Ops 7 that I wanted to talk about because the main reason I wanted to
Oh,
talk about it was people have been saying, Hunter. The word on the street is that the campaign is an absolute piece of garbage. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, they're not lying. It's awful. It is the worst thing that I've played in a long time. A long time. It's horrendous. It's not good. It's
you
like the
know,
whole thing is taking place in like mental delusions. So there's like giant like monsters everywhere and stuff like that. It feels to me like they have run out of ideas. They want to do like an actual they want to take the zombies mode and they want to do a full-on campaign, and Activision's going, "No, you're still a wartime shooter game." And they're like, I guess there's this war, like, there's this war weapon that's gas that makes you hallucinate zombies." And then Activision's like, "Yeah, tick the box, tick the box. There you go, that'll
I don't
do."
know why Activision really would care. Why would they really
Well, they don't,
have
because
to
they released a
micro?
3-hour campaign
Yeah,
that's awful.
that's what I'm saying. Why would they have to micromanage what the campaign even is when most people are gonna buy it to play the multiplayer anyway? Like, the campaign could be Plants vs Zombies for all most people care.
I think
And
the issue is, Hunter, is the campaign doesn't matter. You're right, but Call of Duty is still in this weird space where if the campaign is bad, the rest of the game kind of gets, you know, it kind of gets that shadow on it where it's like, oh, bad campaign, even though nobody plays the campaigns. It's like kind of what the critical reception is fully based on. For example, Black Ops 7, the multiplayer and zombies are actually pretty damn good. They're better than last year. There's no skill-based matchmaking, which people are arguing on Twitter whether there is or there isn't. Trust me, there isn't. I am stomping people like it's 2012. It's a good time. And zombies is fantastic this year. It's really special. The premise of the game is basically, for a while it's been stuck in like the main time, like campaign and zombies takes place in the same universe. Basically, it's happening at the same time. So you had this, yeah, everything was like in facilities and underground bunkers and stuff like that because it made no sense. Why would if zombies were real, people would know about it? It's kind of that lame
yeah.
ass kind of stuff. But they've kind of said, nah, F that, and they've kind of dragged them into hell, like this other dimension called the Dark Ether, where basically all this weird crap has just been dumped. It's like the dumping ground of the universe, where everything that's not right with the universe is just dumped there. And it's kind of sick, because the first map is like a Bermuda Triangle of different locations where things have just been dumped out of time. Like there's an old western town in the middle of it. And you can
Oh,
drive around
nice.
a truck and drive from point to point and ram stuff, and there's a big zombie bear that chases you down. It's some good stuff. They've just released a new trailer, which is like the intro cutscene for the next map because it's out in like a couple of weeks, and it is, I swear to God, one of the best like intro cutscenes to a thing that I've seen in a long time. It is like all the campaign money, Hunter, went on this cutscene because I'm sitting there and I'm going, this is mental. It's like it's them flying a truck through space as zombies on asteroids are chasing them around. It's like, it's sick. It's
Oh,
bizarre.
man.
It's crazy. There's a metal song in the background that they've licensed.
Oh, nice.
It's great, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, the magic's kind of back. It's just a shame that you know it's a two Black Ops games in 2 years. It feels like this is the game that's better, but because they, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you, like people are like, I'm not being fooled again. And I'm like, well, this is from a multiplayer
Yeah.
and zombies perspective, this is miles better, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I don't have anything to really substantiate the evidence. I've just kind of been glancing where apparently the even sales wise, it hasn't been doing too hot.
No, and I think that, I think that it's deserved for sure, but it's
Yeah,
also like,
I don't want to be the guy that celebrates, big old failures here, but I've had beef with this game since the summer.
dude, do you know the best part? That really expensive cutscene that was on the Xbox showcase, not in the campaign. That was just trailer bait, dude. That was just trailer bait.
It just made it look like the evil within for no reason.
But no, and I'm just looking at the trailer right now, and it literally is. I've got it on my phone if you're a podcast listener, but it is them literally flying a truck through space as zombies on asteroids are chasing them around, and you can tell they spent about $10 million on this, and it is quite possibly my new favorite thing. Is it dumb? Yes. Is it cheesy as hell? Yes. Have I missed this? Yes. Like honestly, if that's where all the money went, I'm a happy bunny. That's all I care about. It's cool. I like it. But yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? Because they have taken, they've got rid of matchmaking. They've brought zombies back to a standard which I think has been missing for almost a decade at this point. And it's the lowest selling COD because of all the crap that's come before it. What will Activision take from lessons wise from this? You guys don't know what you're talking about. Back to the worst thing you've ever seen in your life and stick a Modern Warfare title out next year, and then there you go. Great sales
Probably.
again. Yeah.
Somehow Sledgehammer still won't get, an actual real dev cycle.
That's 2027, Hunter. Let them cook. Let them cook something a bit abhorrent.
No, it's just by my observation, every time they get tapped to make something, they never get like enough time to actually do what they want.
Dude, Treyarch's the same way.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it was up to me, Hunter, I think what is the future of this franchise? And I sit there and I go, I think the future of this franchise is going back to its roots. And what I mean by that is just make a really good first person shooter, stay in your lane, actually care for once in your life, let your developers have a good development time. And I would let them, I don't know, maybe it is time to just have a full, just a Call of Duty multiplayer that is just an ongoing thing that just lives in itself, and then let Treyarch and
I really
Sledgehammer
would've
do
thought
weird
they would've
stuff.
made Warzone do that at some point.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But it's weird. Anyway, don't buy it or buy it. Do what you want. I don't care. It's your money. But unless you're like me and
You
you're sitting there
shouldn't.
and you're going, yeah. Unless you're like me and you're like, yo, but what if you want to play a game where zombies chase you on asteroids and you drive around on a truck? Then I'm like, come on in. The water's just fine. It's pretty damn cool. It's got Nolan North in it. It's good. Do you know what doesn't have
Now,
Nolan North in
anyway.
it? Kirby Air Riders.
Ah, beans.
Kirby Air Riders is like, what if Sakurai made the GameCube game Kirby Air Ride, but on the Switch too? And there you go, jobs are good, and I
In
think that's my
2025.
review. Yeah, I've dabbled a little bit. It's fine. Like it's good. Like it looks really nice. It plays really well. But it's Kirby Air Ride. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna look back at this first year of Switch 2, and it almost feels like the antithesis of the Switch 1. And what I mean by that is Switch 1 was like banger after banger after banger. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that just hits. It hits. It hits. You're like, oh
Bookended by, Zelda and Mario.
yeah. You got Zelda banger. You've got Arms low key a banger. You've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Fantastic Mario Kart game. You've got, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle out of nowhere. What a banger, Odyssey, Xenoblade 2, you just sit there and you're like, wow, what a great year.
Splatoon 2.
Splatoon 2. And this year, Mario Kart World, which has, I think it's fair to say, been a failure at this point.
Yeah. Underperformed, if nothing else.
And what I mean by that is there'll be somebody in the comments, Nintendo Ninja, Nintendo fanboy, will be like, it sold 6 bajillion units. And I'm like, yes, but from a zeitgeist moment, nobody is like, nobody's talking about it. They've not done any DLC. They've done nothing interesting with it. it's fair to say that most people, it's not, I don't think it's anybody's favorite Mario Kart. I think it's safe to
Yeah.
say. Um,
I don't it's a lot it's not even a lot of people's favorite racing game this year.
mm, some sickos have been playing Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Like,
Yeah.
what's the deal with that? Um, you know, Donkey Kong Bonanza, fantastic game. That is the Switch 2 saving grace at this point. It is a saving grace.
Yeah.
Then what else have we had? Bunch of Switch 1 ports. Pokemon, which was also on Switch 1, which, don't get me wrong, it's a lifesaver on Switch 2 to play that at a decent frame rate and resolution. It does happen. Miracles do happen. You can play PS2 games at 60 FPS in 2025, ladies and gentlemen. You can do it. And, you've got Metroid, which I'm hoping Metroid is fantastic, and it caps off the year and it's fantastic. I'm hoping. I'm still dreaming.
Yeah.
And you've had Hyrule Warriors, but, Hyrule Warriors is what it is. It's not a main focus for people. And
Yeah,
Kirby
it's
Air
not
Ride.
really.
Kirby Air Ride is, if you are a Kirby Air Ride fan, Kirby Air Riders is incredible because it is just a supersized version of that game. If you love the original city like the city mode, it's there and it's fully online and it's fantastic and it plays really good and it controls really well. If you're a massive fan
I
of Sakurai and all of his weird little gimmicks that he likes to do, like the achievement tile walls and all of that jazz, and
yeah, yeah.
his story modes that are fundamentally just extremely linear experiences with cutscenes in between them. Fantastic. It's all there, but also, if I'm walking up to, Timmy on the street and I'm like, yo, Timmy, do you want to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 for $450 so you can play Kirby Air Riders? No. I'm happy I bought it. It's good. It's better than I thought it would be, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
It's probably my second favorite game that I've played on Switch 2 after Donkey Kong, but also
Yeah,
I just
it's one of those
it's
things
weird.
where I respect Sakurai for making this happen.
Hmm.
I do love when creators just decide they want to do something
100%.
and then hold the rest of their output for the company they work for hostage until they're allowed to do it.
100%. And I'm
I
sure
love it when people do
I am
that.
sure literally the minute it was online, they were like, back to the Smash Mines with you, Sakurai. Off you go.
Yeah.
Um
But it's also demonstrably like I've never really been the biggest Kirby person in the first place.
mhm.
So, it's not really my thing. But I do have a lot of respect for it.
It's fun and it's better than Mario Kart. It's also better than like the Jamboree TV abysmal like multiplayer stuff.
Oh
This is
yeah,
a
I'm
really
sure.
fun kind of couch game where it's like play with a couple of
Oh yeah,
friends.
I could
You
see
do
where
race,
that
you do city trial, you do a bit of racing, you do the versus stuff. It's fun, right? It's good, simple fun. Sakurai knows how to make really fun video games. He knows how to make an addictive gameplay loop that just makes you want to go, oh, one more. Okay, let me move over to city mode. I'm kind of bored of the free roam, the normal racing. Oh, let me try the story mode for a little bit. He really knows how to make that kind of addictive loop. He knows how to make video games. He made a YouTube channel all about it. But yet, if you aren't a Kirby fan, like I'm not a huge Kirby fan, I played it for a couple of hours and I was like, this is fun. This feels like a game to me that it's like, whenever I'm bored and I just feel like doing something for like 5 minutes, this is that kind of game where it's like you pick it up for 5 minutes, you play a quick game of City Trial, and you go off on your day and you have a great time.
yeah.
I'm not buying a new console for that though.
Yeah.
And the difference is a lot of people will say, oh, well, PlayStation 5 has no games. Xbox Series X has no games. And I'm like, yeah, but also day and date hasn't really been showing up yet. Like I'd make that fair. I'd be like fair play if I could also, if half the games that are coming out, Xbox is just avoiding the Switch 2 at the moment, like the Plague. I don't know what's happened there. Clearly they've not had any dev kits that have shown up,
Yeah.
which is a shame. But also it's like some of the ports that we are getting, for example, Persona 3, which I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Sega rushed that out to dry. It's a really bad port of Persona 3. Can you play it? Yes. Is it serviceable? I guess. But You
Not the
know,
best way to play
no.
it.
The fact that they managed to get Sonic Racing Crossworlds, a brand new game, for the Switch 2 edition is running at like 1440p 60, and Persona 3 Reload runs at about 720p 30. You know what I mean? Where I'm just sitting there,
It
I'm
is
like,
kind of confounding considering the amount of what's going on in either of those at any given time.
yeah, you know, I don't know, Hunter. What do you think? How do you think we're gonna look over the first year? Obviously, there's a second half of the year. What we have to remember is, guys, it came out in June, so it's like give it till next June to have the full year effect. But you know,
I
I don't know.
definitely don't think we'll think this is as strong as the Switch's
Oh, I think
first
that's out of the
year
window
because,
now. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's out of the window.
obviously,
Yeah, yeah,
like
totally.
they'd have to slap down things that are genuinely impossible by
I
like
think
March and
Metroid Prime
April.
4 would have to be the second coming for us to even start considering it. And even then, we'd be
It,
like, yeah, but Breath of the
but it
Wild
also
and
has
Odyssey.
yeah, and then we'd also be sitting there going, yeah, but Metroid Prime also has Mark or whatever his name is
Mm.
talking to you.
Yeah, yeah, Timothy Chalamet. Why is
Yeah.
he in my video game?
But,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where, yeah, it'll really this year for the Switch feels way more like 2020 to me than it does of the launch of the Switch one,
It
Where
genuinely
it's like
it
they had
does.
one big title and then they kind of had like maybe I'm just saying this because of that Donkey Kong, which is the big thing like Animal Crossing was, and then Hades picked up the slack for it for me this at the end
Yeah.
of the year.
And don't get me
But
wrong, like I say, there's time to come back. You know, you've got Mario Tennis coming out earlier next year. You've got, um, what I'm hoping is that both Tomodachi Life is early next year. I'm hoping Rhythm Heaven is also early next year. I'm also kind of hoping that Fire Emblem is June.
it does feel like they're slotting things into a rhythm now. It's just also like some of these don't feel super substantial is the issue. Like Mario Tennis, skippable,
I'm telling you right
especially for
now,
$70,
I'm telling
skippable.
you right now, if Mario Kart World had actually hit the way that a lot of us were expecting it to, I
Be a
think we
different
wouldn't be
conversation.
feeling as bad. Yeah, I
Yeah.
genuinely think that Mario Kart set the tone.
I think even if you just kind of switched around when they came out a little bit, like if Donkey Kong had launched with the console,
Yeah, 100%.
people would have been riding higher on the launch to begin with. And then maybe Mario Kart being a little disappointing or very disappointing, depending on,
How passionate you
how
are.
emotionally invested
Yeah,
you are in it.
totally.
Um, could be a little more forgivable because it's not the first big game of the console.
Totally. Um, I yeah, there's something about Mario Kart World, and I find it very interesting because obviously I know you haven't played it, but
Nope.
as someone, I'll be honest with you, I only put 30 hours into it. Considering I have put in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe over 200 hours into Mario Kart 8 between its Wii U and Switch version. The fact that I only put 30 in tells you
Rookie
enough.
numbers.
But also, I've played it with friends. I've gone around to people's houses, and I don't know how you feel about Mario Kart in general, Hunter, but I don't think you can get a better Mario Kart experience than actually being in the room with people. That is when you get the best
Oh
Mario
yeah,
Kart experience
definitely.
for sure. And even they weren't feeling it. I genuinely
Yeah,
had a
that's the
friend who was like, I think I'd prefer if we played Mario Kart 8.
yeah.
And I was
I would
like, I
say the
kind of
part of that,
agree.
like, and I might be speaking out of turn because I haven't played it. I've only kind of
No,
observed
no, that's what we
people
do
play
here on
it,
the HGO podcast.
but
I love speaking out of turn. Yeah, go for it.
yeah, but I've only kind of like one of the things I noticed when watching Kyle play for a little bit this one time was the items don't have like
The
any.
source,
Yeah,
the
it's like a
impact.
minor inconvenience. There's no. It's like when I'm watching an action game and there's no feedback to the hits, and the visceral satisfaction of red shelling a friend as you
Yeah,
drive past them and yell
100%.
"Ha ha, suck it," isn't there. It'd be like FIFA if you slide tackle someone and they just kind of stumble instead of falling down and eating the dirt.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, that, like I say, I just think it set it also sets us off on the wrong foot. I'm not the biggest fan of Donkey Kong Bonanza as much as everybody else. I still sit there and go, everybody else is giving it a 9 and a 10. I'm giving it like an 8.5. You know what I mean? I'm just like a little down below it. I'm still like, it's an excellent video game. I still think it's
Yeah, I know
brilliant.
what you mean.
When we're
It's
talking about
definitely
soundtrack,
slipped
not
further
yeah,
down the
the list,
um
yeah.
list as the years went on for me.
Hades 2, if you're a console player, then I guess you've got that as well to sit there and digest if you're a fan of that. Um, but I am just sitting there and I'm like, man, I just remember it was like the Switch one at the start was like, get on, nerds, we're actually going on a journey here, Nintendo's coming back. And now it just feels
Right.
like Nintendo's
I
coasting.
waited until this time that year to get mine, and I was covered for like the first part of 2018 even. Like, I
See,
don't
my
remember the first
friend,
game that I flipped off the Switch to play that year was.
my friend who is, I wouldn't say, he plays quite a few Nintendo games. He's like he's pretty into Nintendo, but not that into it that he'd get it at launch. He was saying to me, he's like, yeah, I don't see any reason to get a Switch currently until Pokemon Gen 10. And I'm like, you know what?
Ouch.
I can't disagree with him though.
Yeah, like as far as like actual like tangible reasons too, there's not much, and it's also your friend, so the economic situation is different over there. But like the thing I've
He could buy it.
always
I'll
yeah
call him out. He could buy it. My friend could buy it.
the,
He makes a lot of
no
money,
the thing
more
that
than me.
the thing that I'm saying is like when I've been having conversations with people, over here about it is,
Mhm.
they ask me if it's worth it or whatever. I'm like, well, consider the fact that it will probably be more expensive when you want it,
Yeah,
and
totally.
think about how much that's going to bite then, and
It's a
whether
value
or not
prop.
you.
It's a
Yeah,
value proposition. But I also think we're in a real crappy territory here now where we are buying consoles based off of the what ifs. What if the
yeah,
price
which isn't
goes
great.
up? What if there's something that I want to play in 18 months? It's like I've been playing a what if game with PlayStation Plus Premium for the past 2 years where I go, yeah, but what if there's a month where 17 classics come along and I'm like, oh, darn it. I knew I should have kept subscribed. You know what I mean? Where it's like, we're all sitting there with what ifs, but it's like also could be, what if Gen 10 isn't that hot? And then you did buy a Switch too early and you did it for no reason. Or the Switch 2 didn't go up in price. Or, there's a lot of factors here where it's like, it's very difficult for me right now to recommend people buy a Switch 2 other than, is Switch your main ecosystem? If your Switch is your main ecosystem, then yeah, get a Switch 2. It's a better Switch. And you can play all your
Yeah,
old games on it in a better way, and you can get all these upgrades. But I'm also not, if someone comes to me and is like, hey, I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan, I play nothing but Animal Crossing though. Should I buy a Switch 2 so I can get this update for the Switch 2 edition? I'd be like, mate,
wait till the new
Stardew
one.
Valley is a video game that was made by Concerned Ape. It released in 2016, and it's the second coming. That is the second coming in video game form, by the way. That is just it's wholesome in everything. I don't think there's a better a better candidate
You're right. It was
in video game form.
video games was Pac-Man, and
Yeah,
then it was Stardew Valley.
and I don't think we'll go any further than that. But yeah, it's a tough one. Anyway, Kirby's great. If you're wondering why I went on this tangent, it's mainly because there isn't too much to talk about when it comes to Kirby. Um, but I think it is an
It is
interesting
kind of what you
conversation.
see is what you get, it seems.
It is. It very much is, and it's good. That's the thing.
One
Is it's
one thing
good.
I was wondering about, like the
Yeah, shoot.
singular button control scheme.
Yeah.
How's that actually feel in
Oh,
practice?
awful.
Okay, just
Um,
wondering.
yeah, it
I figured that
works.
might be the case.
It works, but I'm also sitting there where I'm like, bro, you're making like, it's like it's a lot of it's the analog stick. He says it's one button. It isn't because you like, your analog stick is doing most of the heavy lifting. And also it's like, hey, if you want to take this corner sharply instead of drifting, mash the B button. And I'm like, that doesn't feel very good. I'd rather have a separate button. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather have a brake and a drift button instead of
Yeah,
hold to drift and mash. But it's
it's
fine.
like mashing X to sprint in Rockstar games.
Yeah, we know how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good if you have a Switch 2 and you feel like you want to pick it up. Yeah, go for it, mate. Have the time of your life. You know, it's Black Friday's coming up. Maybe you can get some sweet little deals on something. I don't know. I'm not your boss. I'm not your financial advisor. You don't want my financial advice. My financial advice is buy, buy, buy.
Yeah, Ethan will tell you to buy the Switch too, and then if they release a goofy like Splatoon Raiders edition, they'll
I
tell
will
you to
not be
get that
buying a
one next
Splatoon. I
too.
will not be buying a Splatoon Raiders Switch 2. If they do release an OLED, I will probably consider it though. What can I say? I'm just one of those guys. I did say I might talk about Pokemon. If you want to know my thoughts on Pokemon ZA, it's fine. Again, though, that's what the problem with these games is with Nintendo this year is it's just fine. The
Yeah.
combat's really fun. The story's pretty interesting. Lumios as a city is absolutely boring to experience, and it's got 120 side quests, and I can tell you from doing 94 of them so far that there's not a single one that is interesting. So it's like, it's
What's
busy work the
Nintendo and
video
the
game.
fixation on 120? That was Zelda's number for the shrines too.
I don't know, dude. But it is literally like, it's like, hi, my Cypher really needs to learn this move so he can give dogs haircuts. Can you show me this move? And there'll just be a thing where there's a mannequin where you just hit that move on the mannequin and it's like, wow, my Cypher learned it. Thank you so much. Mission complete. And you're like, wow, that was a great experience, mate. That was a fantastic. Oh, can you show me an Inkey so I can make Inkey perfume? Show them the Inkey. Thank you. Mission complete. And I'm like, brother, the children yearn for side quests that are more than just slop. But you know what? Pokemon Company is only interested in their slop, and that's fine. It's all good. I'm near the end though. I will finish it. We'll see though. We'll see. I am like, don't spoil it, guys. I do not want spoilers for Pokemon Legends ZA, but I'm like rank B, I think, of going into rank A, so I'm near the end. But I'll finish it. I think it's interesting. There's some interesting stuff. The combat's really fun. The music's pretty great. But overall, I'm sitting there and I am just like, Legends Arceus just had this magic to me where it felt different, and the world, even though the game looked crunchy and it wasn't, the greatest, it still kind of opened my imagination up to mainline Pokemon games that aren't the exact same. And this one has those moments where I'm like, oh, it being in an open world city is an interesting idea. And, having side quests and main missions is interesting. The ZA Royale is an interesting concept. But it's just a boring open world, and the wild zones are literally like 2 trees and a fence, and you're just like, cool, I guess. It's a mixed bag. I think it landed at around 82. I think that's fair. I probably would have given it a little bit lower. Like if we were on that kind of scale, I probably would give it like a 77 or 78. That's probably where I sit on it. But yeah, it's interesting, Hunter. I'm interested in Wind and Wave next year. Sorry, Pokemon Gen 10. Don't dox me. Don't take us down, Game Freak. I did not say the name of the generation.
What
are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Make a functioning video game?
True, they can't make one of them. They're never gonna figure out how Content ID works on YouTube. Oh wait.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there, ladies and gentlemen. You are? Oh, no, you're too early for the doodly doos.
Oh, I was
That's
too
doodly
early
doo.
for
Go
the
now,
doodly-doo.
go. There it is. Okay, yeah, you can go follow us on Twitter or Blue Sky if you want to keep up to date with what we do outside the podcast. Yeah, next week we are doing our Game Awards predictions. That's for sure. So if you would like to see us predict the winners, if you want us to see us predict Half-Life 3, Crash Team Racing 2, and Spyro 4, I'm asking for both now, Hunter. I am a greedy goblin. I will be taking both.
Man. Both.
Open and closing, dude. Open and closing. It's Ethan's Game Awards. It's Ethan's Game Awards. And I want Half-Life in the middle, like between like ads, just to troll people. But yeah, we'll do all of our fun predictions after that. And then obviously the week after that, Metroid Prime 4, the final big release of the year, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be talking about it. It'll be a good time, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Please, Retro, we've been waiting literally decades for you to release another video game.
I expect that I'll at least enjoy it.
Hey, we'll find out. We'll find out. Anyway, thank you for hanging out, everybody. Been fun. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. But until then, have an awesome week. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Toodaloo.